What's up? What's up? Happy Saturday, y'all. What up? What up? All right, let's get you in here. Chrys, send the invite, Chrys. I don't know why it's being stupid. Is that my Virgo sis popping in the chitty chat? All right, I got it. Come on.
I think it works, sis. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, good. Good evening.
Hi. Hi, everyone joining. Hi, Miss Karen.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, all over podcast? Pretty sure that's Zion. Miss Leanne, if you're still there, hey girl. Oh my God. Hi, Miss Karen.
Hello,
I love
hello.
you so much, Miss Karen.
Here we go.
Literally was about to go live and then I knocked everything over.
Yeah, you had me worried for a second there, girl. Are we good? We straight?
No, it was me. It was on me. Okay. So, wow. Let me see. Give me a second. Man. Okay. So, thank you guys for joining us on this lovely, cold, I don't know how the weather is for y'all at, but it's freezing up here. Saturday night for this lovely conversation. How are you doing today, girl?
I'm amazing. I did all my laundry before noon today, so that's a personal best for me. Got some podcast stuff done and had dinner all before 6 p.m. So I'm proud of myself today. How about you?
That's all. You don't do all your laundry in one day?
So I do. It's usually a several hour event. I got it done in about 2 hours today. So
Okay. I actually am one of those people that actually like doing laundry. I don't like the putting it away part. Yeah, I don't know what it
there
is.
you
I
go.
always like washing clothes.
For sure. The
But
putting away part, I could pay somebody to do.
yeah. But I'm okay,
Good.
It's a long week. It's just cold. Like it's really cold. But otherwise I'm good. But
Good.
so we'll get started. Don't want to hold too much time since I was a little bit tardy. But again, thank you guys that are joining us, or if you're catching us on the replay. Hello, I'm Shakita, your favorite Virgo host of Chronicles of Virgo podcast. And we are just going to chitty chat tonight. This is Chrys from The Monthly.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get together to have a little conversation just because it seems like almost everybody, or most people that at least I know, are going through something at this time. So just try to put some motivational and some words of encouragement out into the universe.
Indeed.
In hopes that someone picks up on the good vibes and information that we put out, and it helps someone at some point, whether it's now, later to come, just, in hopes that it helps someone. So before we even dive into the whole conversation, Chrys, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the good people who you are?
Yes, ma'am. So, like Shakita said, I am Chrys, short for Christian. I'm the founder and host of the monthly podcast. I advocate for women's reproductive and period health. I'm a survivor of several things, so I was very honored for Shakita to. We've linked up before, so it's always a vibe when we link up. But for this particular topic, I was very grateful for her to pick me because yeah, I done been down through there, and I know she has as well. And so we always kind of speak on personal terms. So it's always a meeting of the minds when her and I speak. And I'm just glad to be here tonight to help spread those positive vibes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So the topic for tonight is thriving through chaos because again, we've all been through something. Some of us are walking through our testimonies at this time. And, again, some people may need a word of encouragement during this hard time that they're, dealing with. Or if it's not now that the person catches this live, down the line, hopefully the information um, is enough to empower you through that situation, right? So, like Chrys said, like we have talked on a personal level, and we both have endured a lot of different things. And I think the good part of those things is we are still here to tell our story, which means we at some point thrived through the chaos that was going on in our life at that time. And if we have chaos going on now, we are living testaments of it and continue to thrive through it. So we're just going to like have a little conversation on, maybe an experience or something that we have gone through or currently going through, and then what it is or what it was that kept us at that moment to continue to push through. So I will let Chrys start. If you want to just speak on a time in your life where you chose to thrive through some chaotic experience, and so you chose the time to thrive through a chaotic experience opposed to just giving up. What's up, my Virgo sis?
All right, all right. So from 2015, well, from 2012 to 2018, I was with a gentleman. We married in 2015, so we dated about 3 years before we got married. And upstanding man, he was a plumbing inspector for the state of Texas. The beginning of the marriage was great. Everything was going great. We were trying for kids, all the things that married people do. At the time, I was in education like I am now. And I'm originally from Texas. I live in Oklahoma City now, but I'm originally from Texas. Was in Texas all my life before I moved out here about 4 years ago. So this was still when I was in Texas. And in late 2016, right before my grandmother passed, I found out that he was using meth, crystal meth. And before y'all ask, yes, he was. I always get that question. So right after I found out, when you're married, you're supposed to be that person's helpmate. So I did not immediately. I was upset, genuinely, like somebody would be when they find something out like that. However, I was just willing to help. I was ready to help. I was ready to get whatever help that he was willing to get for himself. Throughout that whole time, he did work, but the funds started dissipating. So he's working, but the money's not matching what he's making or what I know him to be making. So basically, he was, spending it up on the drug. So for about the first 6 months of 2017, that's what I spent doing, looking for rehab centers for him to go to, places that would take him where he could still be able to work, because that was his thing. He wanted to still be able to work and get the help. So, like I said, spun my wheels for 6 months doing that all the way into 2017. And once the funds really started getting bad to where we're getting, 5-day notices for the apartment and stuff like that, I picked up 2 other jobs. So I had a total of, believe it or not, 5 jobs, y'all. 5 jobs while I'm dealing with him with this. All the while I am being verbally abused. I had to have surgery, a fibroid removal in 2017. He stomped me out in a tub with steel toe boots on because he was high. This was like 72 hours after said surgery. So, and that was September. So, like, I'm dealing with physical, verbal abuse the entire time while I'm still trying to work and get him the help. And I did not give up on that part of it. It wasn't until November 2017 That was his birthday month. On his actual birthday, I'm cooking, getting ready for him to arrive home from work. I tell him, don't come in just yet, or I text him, don't come in just yet. Doing some last minute stuff. So he never responded to that. He said all he told me is that he was parked outside, but he never responded to that. The next thing I knew, he was rushing in the house. He had got held up at gunpoint, sitting outside in his work truck, waiting on me to let him in. So we go through the whole process of going downtown to the police department, trying to find the people. All the while, it was some of his meth friends. He knew who it was the entire time. Mm-hmm. He kept that from me. I didn't find that out till later, but that's ultimately what happened. So it was supposedly a friend of his. The friend robbed him. I'm just blessed that he didn't come in the house because he had like some muscle with him. The muscle had a weapon. And they assaulted him, like I said, right there in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to December 2017. Again, like I said, I'm still in education. I'm still teaching along with the other jobs that I picked up because even after that ordeal, he kept using. Mm-hmm. It was to the point at that point, his employer was calling me while I was at work, asking me where he was and stuff like that. And I'm like, I thought he was in your hands, boss, because he's not here, and I'm at work. I'm right. In my bag. So, got really bad. So, like I said, December 7th, 2017, I got a call from the detective that was on that case from his assault, and she said, I've been trying to get in touch with your husband all day. We need him to come down and, identify in a lineup. Okay, cool. So I get off work. I come in from work, he had used, they call them handlebars, they call them faux bars, whatever you want to call it. He was in his full work uniform, laid out on the floor next to the bed, sleep, face down. So it spooked me. This is about 3 p.m. that day. He usually doesn't get off till about 6, 7 p.m. at night. So it was highly unusual for him to be there at that time of day. Came in, took me about 3 minutes to jolt him up, wake him up, to tell him, hey, we have to go downtown to do this. They need you there by 5. Because I was just gonna go get him from his job because that's where he was supposed to be. But he wasn't at work, and the job was about 5 minutes from our house. So when I said, like I said, came home, found him like that, got him up. On the way downtown, he started verbally berating me. He just kept calling me out of my name, telling me I wasn't shit, that I was broke. Like, he was just spewing them at me. But by that time, I had become so numb to what he had been doing. I'm just still driving. It's like he's not even in the car to me at this point. That only amped him up. So he figured he couldn't get nothing out of me by arguing back with him, I guess. So he hit me in my mouth with his work phone. He threw the work phone right in my jaw, hit me in the mouth. He literally was I'm in drive on a freeway. He's literally trying to take the keys out of the ignition. That's how high he was. So, blessedly, we make it downtown. When he gets out of the car, as soon as he sees me put the car in the park gear, he immediately snatches the keys out, runs in the police station. But I'm like in the middle of the street. There's cars coming, there's a stoplight behind me, but as soon as this light turns green, they're going to come through and hit the car if I don't move it. So I had to run in the police station after him. Of course, the police are like, what the hell is going on? And I ended up getting the keys back. So while he's in there trying to do the lineup and identify the guy, which he already knew, remind you, I'm in the car like boo-hooing, like, okay, that's it. I got a plan. I was going to go to my aunt's house because that night I had to work at one of my night jobs. I was going to go to my aunt's house after I got off from that job. I was going to drop him off after that, pack a bag real quick, and dip because I had to be back at my teacher job in that same area where she lives the next day. So I said, boom, I'll just do it like that because I got to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And when he goes to work the next day, I'll get all my shit and leave. Did not go that way. So he gets back in the vehicle from identifying whomever, and it was like nothing even transpired on the way to the police department. It was like he sobered up. It like he drank some water or something and sobered up. It was crazy. It was insane. So we get to the apartment complex. Like I said, I got a plan. So I didn't even park the car. I just pulled right in front of the apartment, took off running in the house. I'm unlocking the door. Like, he's moving so slow, he's still coming from the car. So I hear him close the door behind me. He comes in the house. And when I turned and looked up at him, Keita, because at this point I'm like crouched down, packing some stuff in a bag. He had my purse in his hand because he'd taken my purse out of the car. Purse is still in the car. He had my purse in his hand and he just balled it up and threw it against the wall. You could hear my perfume break and everything. But when I turned and looked up at him, it was like I was not even seeing my husband. It looked like a demon, literally. And before I knew it, he came, because the way our house is built, when you come right in, you can go right either into the kitchen or into the living room area towards the bedroom. He threw the purse from literally the front door, and he came in to the kitchen and grabbed a knife that I swear to you, I did not even know we owned, Shakita. And by this time, I'd made it into the living room part, and he punched me into our love seat, and he held me down with this knife to my neck. He pulled out like I had box braids. He pulled out like some of my braids in front. He's like punching me. But luckily, the whole time I had my phone in my hand, even when I came in to pack this bag, literally in my left hand. As he's trying to punch me, I'm crouching, but I'm dialing 911 like this because my arm is pinned behind me, but the phone is literally still in my hand. And I can see it, so I'm punching 911. I get 911. Excuse me. I get 911. As soon as the lady asked me, what is your address? He punched me again. So he's hitting me in my mouth to keep me from giving the address. I finally screamed the whole address out, and he punched me again, but he raises up off me, and I took out the door. By this time, because again, the neighborhood or the suburb that we lived in, the police station or the substation wasn't far. His job wasn't far, all of that. So I could hear the sirens coming down the street because I've called 911. I'm outside screaming and hollering. At this time, I'm talking to my homegirl on the phone, telling her what just happened. 2 police vehicles pull up. There's cops in plain uniform in one car, and then people in plain street clothes in a second car. They drew down on him immediately because by this time he had barricaded himself in the house. And the way our house is built, I can see our patio or into our house through the patio from where I was sitting in my car. So the cops immediately take me. The other cops go banging on the door. One's drawn down on our patio. The other one's drawn down on the door. This is in the era of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown and all of these young black men dying by the hands of police. So even though he had just damn near killed me, I'm still scared because I'm like, if he makes the wrong move, he's done. Mm-hmm. That was his first offense. Domestic violence family member. They found drugs on him. He was high when it happened. So they kept him, but he got released like not even 90 days after that because he was a first time offender. When he got back out of jail, it was already 2018, but by that time I had already, everything that I knew as normalcy had changed for me that day. So I had already moved on, literally. It hurt. I was uprooted brutally, abruptly from my environment that I was used to. It was a lot for me. It was mentally taxing. At the time, I was still recovering from that surgery, so I was in pain all the time. And to look back on it now, I don't feel like I made a wrong move in the decision making that I chose after that happened. Because half of me was like, give it another chance, even after all of that. Because this is still my husband. But in that almost 3 months that he was locked up, I did a lot of soul searching quick. I had to, because I didn't know, anything. All I knew is that the domestic violence people in Texas, they were going to call me as soon as he was released. It wasn't like they were going to be like, okay, he's going to be released this date, so prepare yourself. I didn't get to get that luxury. I would have only received a phone call saying this person has been released from this place, and you know, so shit, go for what you know after that. But after that, I did try to help in a couple more ways, but he kept using the drugs. He didn't go to the probation classes. He didn't go check in with the parole officer, all of that. So I knew I had to literally dissolve this marriage, because if not, he's going to kill me this time, because he doesn't want to stop doing what he's doing. So from late 2016 to, I mean, I'm going to say 2018, 2019, that was a tumultuous time. And at first I felt like I didn't give myself enough time to heal, because I moved forward so quickly with just life in general. I had to work and everything else. I had to move back in with my mom. Like, it was just a lot of stuff. So I binged and did all of the things that I didn't get to do in that 6-year relationship and marriage. I had put my dental hygiene degree on pause, because he was closer to his dreams than I was. And I helped him get there, and that was the thanks that I got. And it was just a rough time, because I'm like, well, I done wasted 5 years on myself, not doing for me, because we didn't have children. I don't have children. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like, okay, we had to do this and take care of the kids or something. It was literally just us. So I had to stop beating myself up for the outcome that became of that whole ordeal, because apparently there is a journey that he needs to take, and I don't need to be a part of that. And I needed to move around and let the Most High work. I had to get out of the way. I was literally standing in God's way with whatever it was that he was working with him with. So here we are, 2023. I'm 4, 5, 6 years removed from that situation, and I'm just blessed to be able to talk to others about that, because I've never not felt like I could talk about the situation at all. Never saw myself as a victim, only a victor, only. I did have my moments. I had my mental days. I had my down days. I had my up days. But I never allowed myself to be that victim, because I feel like in some cases when you do that, then it's like, woe is me. Then you feel sorry for the abuser. And I think that's why a lot of women go back. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to generalize it that hard, but I think when we see our friends and loved ones, and even people we look at Krishan and Blueface. We look, you know what I'm saying? And they keep going back. So it's like, you have that mental, that physical shit, that spiritual strength to move around. Mm-hmm. Everybody don't have that luxury. Right. And most of all, I thought about my grandma, because again, by this time she's gone, and she was my confidant. I talked to her about any and everything. And even that last year and a half before she passed, and he, was using it, I first found out, I couldn't talk to her. She had dementia. So it wasn't like I was going to be able to purge and then she give me whatever good gems and love that I needed to compensate for what I was going through. I didn't have that. So pulling myself through that at that time, because my mom is still here, my dad's still here. They weren't there physically for me with that. My siblings didn't quite understand why, because they knew my husband to be such a kind, gentle man, and then this happens. I didn't honestly expect, because a lot of people, I got my family and I need my family to, I didn't expect them to understand anything. It was not their marriage. But it was a difficult time. I'm just glad that I'm not a toe tag, and I'm here to talk about it.
Amen. Amen.
Indeed.
Child, hold on, I gotta take a breath on that, because you said no. Like, yeah, you said a lot, right? You said a lot, but when you got to the grandmother, that hit me in a total different lane, because like my grandmother was my rock, and shout out to my aunt Kim, who's in the chat right now. Hey, Jess and Victoria said, see anybody else that came in. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, so I felt that, like, so I definitely felt that. But let me get my life right. Whew,
Mm,
child. But
I
again,
know.
like God is good, right? Because like you went through all of that and you are still here to tell your story. And I think it's interesting, well, at least to me, that you said like even through going through all that you went through and then where you're right now, like you never seen yourself as a victim, you know? And I think it's so easy a lot of times when we're victimized or go through like these different traumatic events, like we easily place ourselves in that victim role because something has happened to us, you know, as the result of whatever the circumstances were.
Right.
And trying to dissect really like the situation in itself and then separate yourself from that and be like, you know what, this don't have nothing to do with me but everything to do with that person
Yeah.
is very hard. So like I do commend you for like actually, you know, being able to hold your, you know, your mental together and be in the mindset like, you know what, like I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to let this overpower me. Like I know what I need to do, because especially when it comes to domestic violence, a lot of survivors can't do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like everyone's not here, unfortunately, to tell their story, you know,
Right.
or for that case, any type of, you know, unfortunate situation or experience that's happened to someone. A lot of people, like for me, I was never in a domestic, nothing that I think that was domestic violence,
Right.
right? But like, you know, I talk very openly all the time about my sexual abuse, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was abused from like elementary school almost to high school, damn near,
Yeah.
I didn't understand the impact, you know, because you're a child. Like you don't understand the impact that something is going to have on your mental
Right.
space, your physical, like you don't understand this stuff. You don't even know,
Absolutely.
understand what the hell just happened to you, right?
Right.
And even through like going through like school and college and different stuff, it wasn't until I really got in therapy that I realized like, oh my God, like I have literally been living my life by a victim mindset all this time. You know, like I would be open with telling certain parts of my story, or just always so comfortable with placing myself in that victim role because I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I was a survivor of what happened to me because it still affected me. And what I realized
Absolutely.
is it's going to still affect you, whether it's a year later, years later down the line. Like those things really hold in us, unfortunately, like in our spirits, and it's a part of us,
Right.
you know?
Right. And it's funny that you said that part of it, as far as we don't realize the detriment it does because it can affect us years later. There are still some time, like it affects me in subtle ways, if you will. If shit fly too close to me, I feel like I'm finna get hit. Um, I've had nightmares. They're few and far between. It's every blue moon, but it still happens. So I guess in those ways, it does still affect me because I feel like when it happened, it was such a fight or flight situation. I didn't have the time to, really process right in those few first fresh months of it happening. But I feel like, and not saying that it was a healthy habit the way that, because I was already mentally checked out before that ordeal even happened with him. We were arguing all the time. There was nothing harmonious about our marriage at that point. So I was already mentally checked out then. So I think when that happened, it only just numbed me up just that much more. So not saying that it was a healthy habit. In fact, it was a very toxic habit, how I pushed myself forward. But it blossomed into me never feeling like that I was a victim. And to you, I say, don't feel bad for feeling like a victim. And you were a minor, bro. Like, it's provisions to that. I just feel like, I don't know, whatever God's purpose for me was in that time, it allotted for me to or it was a requirement for me to feel and go about it in that manner. But to you, like I said, even for you, it's even more detrimental. That's sexual abuse. Like, yeah, you pounding on somebody or hitting somebody, that is fucking bad. That's bad. But sexual abuse, you are invading my personal space. And I'm young, so I'm trying to process this physically, process it mentally. I don't know. Who do I tell? I don't want to tell. Should I tell? If I tell, what, you know? So I just don't want you to just listen to you, because that wasn't something, like, personally I knew. I didn't know, or that I knew about you. I didn't know that it was when you were a minor. I thought you were an adult when that happened. So it was even more detrimental because you're a kid. And it's a beautiful thing to see you here now talking about it so freely.
Yeah, and it's a lot, right? And honestly, like, you know, I always would like tell anybody, like, go to therapy because therapy helps. And
Right.
I've been in therapy consistently since 2017, but up until 2021 was the first time that I actually ever got help for that part of
Mm-hmm.
anything. I was only in therapy for like depression, anxiety, and stuff. But like until I got with the therapist I'm with now, that's when she had a way of, I don't want to use the word grooming me into talking about certain things, but like walking me through the whole process, like certain questions that I didn't realize that she was like trying to dig. And because I just thought it was just like regular procedure, I was just like
Right.
willing to give until when I realized what was going on. I was like, you know what? I'm already here. There's no backing out. And then the more that I engaged with her about different parts of my situation, I just had, it was just very uncomfortable. And even still to this day, it's stuff that I'm still like working with her with in therapy. You know, I don't speak a lot about it just because like you have to like really be in a space to like process things.
Yes, you
And
do.
sometimes like I'm the type of person, like I'll be sitting like watching a movie or something and be like, oh my God, like like certain things just start. And my best friend Jessica is in the chat and she'll tell you, like, I will call her at the crack of bumblefuck and be like, yo, I think I just figured out my life. Like, you know, like for example, like I'll be, you know, I'll be open and honest. So here we go. Um, I had did this master class the beginning of last year. It was a self-love, and I think like it was self-love and it was like all this different stuff, femininity, all this stuff together. Because anybody that knows me know that I am not the most feminine female. You know what I'm saying? See, she said true. See, you
Felt.
know. So I was like, let me go to this because I want to step more into my femininity. You know, it's all over the internet. Let me be more feminine, whatever. I don't know who I was trying to change for, what I was trying to change, but let me just do it, you know? And
Soft life vibes.
yeah, you know. So like I'm like, let me just go in and see. And it was very interesting. And what I grasped from that is the way I carry myself, and the reason that I'm not feminine like that is because of my abuse. And I didn't look at it like that. I looked at
Right.
it like, oh, I'm just a tomboy. Like I play ball, I like football, like this is just who I've always been.
Right.
But then, you know, got Jessica on the phone and I'm like, something's not clicking, like the math is not mathing. Like, can you help me
Right.
process this?
Right.
And I processed it in therapy, and that's what it came out to be. And the disgust, and I'm using the word disgusting. I know everybody probably say it's not disgusting, but disgusting realization I have with all of this is how I'm just not able to, I guess, accept certain things when I realize that, oh, this is a trigger response or this is that. Because I'm like, why does
Right.
everything have to go back to this? Like, why can't I just be normal in everything that I do, or the person I thought I was is all because of this, you know, someone just doing stuff, you know, to me.
Yeah.
And I just at that point, you know, last year I was just like, anything that I do from this point on, I need to get this out of my body. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Purge
Like trauma,
yourself.
yeah, like trauma lives in us. And I mean,
Oh,
I
for
am a
sure.
firm believer, like you can really heal from anything, especially trauma, with the right, you know, treatment and stuff. So I'm like, I need to get this out of me. I'm going to continue going to therapy, continue working on myself,
Right.
doing some trauma releasing things, and you know, just certain things like you said, like how you have nightmares and stuff like that. I was having nightmares. Bad. I was having nightmares. I was having night convulsions where I would just like shake in my sleep. You know, and I've been in relationships, sleeping next to people just in the middle of the night, just waking up
Scaring the
shaking.
shit out of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you don't want to like, well, for me, it's like I didn't want to like share like all aspects of me with certain people so soon. But when certain things happen, it's like, okay, now I got to
Yeah.
tell these people because they're gonna think I'm crazy. So with
Right.
you, I know it was a question back. Someone asked, how does like your situation affect the way you approach romantic relationships now?
Oh, okay. Well, I've actually been in a committed relationship with my girlfriend for the last 4 going on 5 years. We just had an anniversary, March 4th. So we actually knew each other for 16 years. Um, Before that, we met in college, but of course, I was hetero. But we were always very good friends. Um, in 2015 we found each other again, so like 2015, 2016 we found each other again on Facebook. So
Mhm.
that's how we reconnected. She'd gone overseas and played basketball for a while, so we lost connection, and we reconnected then. But was still a friend. We picked up where we left off, like nothing, was different. But she called and FaceTimed or was talking to me through some of those ugly times with my husband. So she knew firsthand, even over my family members.
Is that her in the chat right there?
Yes, that actually is Bergen Prophet is her. I didn't even know she was
Love when
watching.
she tell this story.
She's literally watching from the other room. She just got off work like maybe 30 minutes ago. Um, but she was there for me, not physically because we were miles apart, but she gave me those encouraging words. She told me what I was feeling, or my thought process on certain things wasn't wrong, and she was just always that person for me. And it was a blessing to have that. So on the one side of the double-sided mirror where I was saying that I had to hurry up and pull myself through some healing right after he went to jail.
Mm.
On the other side of that mirror, I did have that one dedicated person. I was very blessed for that. And 2018, if you ask me, I wasn't promiscuous or anything like that, but that was my hot girl summer. Again, like I said, I did all of the things that I put on pause when I was married. I went and I traveled. I went to travel and eat all the stuff I wanted. I went to go and smoke with the homies for hours and hours and not worry about getting cussed out or putting hands on because I'm out with friends. Like, due to insecurities, like I took that year to, I went back to school. Like I did a lot of stuff in that year. And the whole time she was shooting her shot at me. Like from like after she saw, the marriage was and all that, she put a ballot in. And it's going over my head. I'm not even paying attention to like we just fell talking. She shoot. I had to go back in the beginning of our relationship and look at like messages. It takes me. I'm like, well, damn, she was for real getting at me. I missed all this, and it was because I was dealing with my ex-husband at the time, in the last of his bullshit. So I never saw the forest for the trees in that time. But I saw it right when I was supposed to. And again, here we are today. She is my partner in everything. She is like the other creative mind with the monthly. And, I couldn't ask for anything better. And she's truly a blessing. She's truly a one of one. So that was a good question. I didn't expect that.
Aw, happy endings are the best. So do you, and I'm glad that you had someone there through all of that. That was something I was going to ask. Like, I know you said you didn't think your family was going to support you, but did you have like friends or someone else You know,
Yeah.
sometimes people have like
Yeah.
a coworker they're talking to and they're making a plan to
Right.
get out of a situation like that. Did you have someone? You had her. So shout out to y'all for y'all black love, you know, and that's
Indeed.
good. Do you feel like when you was like entering into the relationship, it was a little like hard because of what you had just dealt with your marriage?
That's also a good question because 2 years into the relationship, I was still hardened. Like, she had to help me unlearn some habits. I had to for real pray, and she's just one of those people that will naturally, because she's an athlete, she's competitive, but mentally she is a pusher. So she was not willing to allow me to think, feel. She calls it stinking thinking. She didn't allow for me to do any of that
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of the relationship. Like, it's hard in here because, like, I'm a true Texan baby. I'm from the south side of Fort Worth, Texas. I'm probably as rough. My little voice ain't the lightest. I'm about 5 foot. I'm real low to the ground, but please don't run up on me. And don't think you can get over on me. And don't think shit's sweet. That has been my MO my whole life. A
Mm-hmm.
defense mechanism, if you really want to be technical and break it down. Because I've always had some kind of blowback with a man, with a friend, with a job or whatever. So I'm just hardened generally. But yes, romantically, she had to love me through some shit. And she just wasn't willing to give up. She was not one of those people, oh, well, you're just not going to talk like that. I'm out. Nah, that wasn't her. Like I said, she a for real. She's somebody basketball coach for real. I guess mine in that time, because baby, she wasn't willing to give up and allow me to give up on me and the things that I set out for myself. I don't. I if I, I probably wouldn't have even thought of nothing like the monthly if it wasn't for like-minded individuals, man. Like-minded individuals, somebody that's truly on your level, and if they're not willing to meet you at a medium. You know what I'm saying? It's rewarding. It's refreshing as well because we don't get that in a lot of black relationships. They're so. I mean, even in social media, in the public, in television and stuff. Even some of the marriages we've seen the longest when they go south, we're depicted so harshly. Black people when the
Mm-hmm.
love goes south. So our goal is just to be the X factor, be the outlier.
Yeah, and I feel like uh uh
She
Victoria
said that's
said
what
that's
us
what
little people do, period.
listen. And hey Janelle, see you creeped in, girl. Uh Jess said, thank God for the people that help see us through, that are capable of that role. Yeah, because
Hmm.
everyone is not capable of taking on certain things, you know? Like, again, my friends have taught me, like, you have some friends that you have, all your friends are for certain things, right? You know, you may have friends that are more emotionally stable than other people. You may have
Right,
some friends that are like you, how you said, you may be like that hard up friend, like that tough friend, whereas those
right.
other friends may be like the, the soft, quiet ones, like
Hmm.
me. I'm like the soft, quiet. It's like nah, but like
She
everybody
says
has a
like,
role.
nah.
And when you have people in your life that like support you and that can help shift your mindset in a
Right,
positive direction, like how your girlfriend helped you move forward from what you were going through, with knowing like there are times when you're going to fall short
right,
because we're human. There are times when the negative thoughts, the depression, the anxiety, the triggers and all that thing, all those things will come back, right?
right.
But I always say, and how I look at things now is, it's not what is coming towards us, is how we respond to what's coming towards us.
Exactly.
Like I like to call it your sit in the shit moment. So if anybody ever talked to me on a personal level, you've heard me say it because I got it from
I
Jess.
like that.
Yeah, you sit in your shit, like, because within sitting in your shit, you are feeling all of your feelings, because what you're feeling is valid. You have to validate yourself and everything that
That's
your
right.
experiences and everything that you're going through, because let's be real, a lot of us are used to people not validating our experiences and what we're going through, overlooking the trauma and the abuse and different things that is in plain sight, or
Right.
making excuses for why they, I would have, I wish I did, but I didn't. So within the sitting in your shit moments, you sitting in that and you're feeling however you're feeling. And you are validating yourself and your feelings, and you are acknowledging the situation that is going on. Whatever it is that's going on in your life at the time, you acknowledge it. But what I always say about those sit in your shit moments is you can't stay there. You give yourself a couple hours, a day, a couple of days, whatever. At the end of the day, you got to get back up, pick yourself together, and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk to 1,000,001 people out here and get advice from 1,000,001 people. You know what I'm saying? You can listen to how many podcasts, read how many self-help books, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to do the work. It's up for you to move forward, put those coping skills to use, and do what you got to do to get yourself together, Because it's been many days where I've gone through things and I wish that someone else can come walk in my shoes for me. Like, come walk this out for me. Come two-step this away from me, because like I can't do it right now.
Right.
And I really don't want to. So having those good people that's like constantly feeding positive things into you is so, so crucial, and it's so beneficial.
Yes, it is.
So
yes, it is. That takes some hellified strength to have a person that just looks past your flaws and that type of toxicity to be willing to be there for you in those moments.
And not judging.
That's rare.
Right?
Right. That's very rare.
Right. Jess said, we are living our own unique journeys with our personal missions, but we exist on the earth together for a reason. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, that makes me like instantly, I thought about like people are in your life for like a reason and a season. And like, I used to hate that whole analogy, because I used to want to keep everyone around. Like, you're my friend, you're always going to be here. Like, where are you going?
Right.
Like,
yes.
Like, we locked in for life. But as you get older, you realize like, okay, I don't know what your purpose was, but like this friendship, relationship, it no longer serves me anymore, or maybe not doesn't serve you. Going on and just move forward from it. I call them silently bowing out. Like, me personally, I was very controversial. Like, I don't want to say I'm a Virgo, and Virgos are controversial, but I like wanted to, I will argue you down until you understood my point. And even if I felt like you still didn't understand it, like, I had to make you understand what I was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just like pointless. Like, I'll say what to say if I choose to even say anything. Otherwise, I'm just gonna.
Truth. Yeah, that was my problem with that whole wanting everybody to be around, and then you see they not really for you. My whole reason was the why part. Well, why do you feel like you had to do that? Well, why couldn't it be like that? Well, why? And that was my hang up. And once I realized, fuck the why, I went on about my business. But that took a long time. Even in my relationship, it was just always a why for me. Like, well, why this? And why did you feel in? Whether they was wrong or right, it was always a why for me. So yeah, like that takes some pushing and working through too. That's
no, I definitely get it.
Topic
like I always listen,
yeah.
I needed an answer. Like, you just can't do certain things or just dip without giving me an answer. Like, I need something to justify your absence, or because otherwise I'm going to find every reason in the world to blame it on me. Like, I had to do something, because you're not telling me anything, and now as life is just continuing to progress, and I'm growing, and my journey is what it is, I'm just like, man, it's not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you spend so much more energy being depressed and mad.
Right. And it's the finding out when you realize that about yourself. Those are really vulnerable motherfucking moments. When you realize that part of it about yourself, because now is literally you turning a new leaf. But those moments are so vulnerable. Those type of moments are vulnerable because, okay, you figured out, about, okay, well, it just don't serve me no more, this relationship or this situation. And like you said, you're still trying to find, inadvertently a reason to blame yourself. So those are very vulnerable moments when you finally figure it out. So yeah, I commend you all the way on that, because I really feel like the Lord's still working over you from that. But hey, I'm gonna get there. Indeed. For sure. Right. Right. Amen. Amen. Hey sis, they saying they can't hear you. I don't know. They saying I can hear you, but our lovely ladies are saying that they can't hear you. Yeah, Miss Karen said you're breaking up. Hmm. Yeah, I've heard you clear the entire time.
Okay, they can
Mhm.
hear you, but can y'all hear me now?
No,
What is going
no, they
on?
said still the same.
I don't know what happened. Oh no, I don't know what happened, y'all.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Wait, is the yes that you can hear me or the yes is that you can't hear me? We back. So this
Okay.
we back.
I think they can hear
Oh,
you
y'all can
now.
hear me
Yeah, they
now?
can hear you.
Okay. Gosh, see, you gotta explain things to me because I'm like, what? Now I can. Oh, praise God! Look at God coming through. You see,
Yes.
see, we was
Yeah,
out
the
here speaking.
enemy don't want us to talk about stuff like that. He wants
Listen,
everybody to be low vibrational and depressed. That's what that is.
yeah, I was just about to say, like, that's because I was about to take this, take this somewhere, and the devil think that he just going to step in and intercede, but we are not
Exactly.
going to allow him to do that. Okay. What I was saying before I was really interrupted was my hopes is that more women, will have the momentum and the encouragement to come forward at some point in their life, in their journey,
And
if
talk
it's
about
meant for them to
it.
do so, to talk about things, because I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, like it doesn't matter on what level you think your situation was. We all have lived through something. We all have a story. And I'm guarantee you, like, whether it's like tremendous or something like the size of a mustard seed, it can empower someone else.
Hmm.
The man trying to oppress us again.
Okay. See, Instagram don't want
Child.
to talk about it.
Well, we good now. We good. We're going to wrap this up a little bit though. But like, all right. So we definitely talked about a lot of things, and we talked about for like I guess one of your main situations that you really had to thrive through. What is some things that you do on a daily basis now to help you continue to thrive in your life? Because life be lifing out here, you know.
Definitely do. Definitely do. And in other situations, in just like my personal life stuff, I'm still the why person sometimes because I'll set the ball up to be punted and then it's punted and blocked. And that's like probably the best analogy I can give in this instance with that. So to combat it, again, my girl, again, she one of them people. Do you remember the meme when Draymond Green is doing Kevin Durant like this and he's like talking to him and his chest is during a game?
Mm-hmm.
That's her. So that's one component. Personally, there's an app that I use called Stoic,
Mm-hmm.
Stoic. I've used it for like the better part of 2 years now. I don't know. A couple of years back, I read The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren,
Mm-hmm.
and after that 40 days of doing that, I really had to, recenter my thinking on a lot of stuff. And I don't know, I found that app in that time and I've used it ever since. It checks me on, okay, girl, have you been sleeping like you're supposed to? Have you journaled about this? Like literally every day I get some type of stoic quote or something during like the middle of the day. And then I answer questions in the morning to get, what's going to be the catalyst of my day. And then I answer questions in the evening and journal. There's like breathing techniques and stuff you can do in that. And also devotion. My Bible app always makes me know it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I read it first thing in the morning or I end up reading it later in the day, whatever the devotion of the day is, most times it directly applies to whatever it is I am about to or have had going on. So those are kind of the things I use. I'm grateful and thankful all the time to God for what I have going now. So I always make sure I give him praise on that, even if I'm just doing it by myself in the comfort of my home. I always make sure that he knows that I see that what he's doing for me. And, I keep my mind grounded knowing that he's doing what he's doing for me and he's gonna continue to do that for me. So those are just some of the tools that I've most recently, maybe in like the last year or two, incorporated. Because before that, I was just a wild child. And if it wasn't going right for me, then okay, fine, bye. But I know you can't be like that, especially when, you move into a higher plateau and you being placed in different rooms. You can't go into that headlong with the person that you was.
Exactly.
You gotta leave that shell. You know what I'm saying? You gotta leave that shell where it's at because you're not gonna be able to enter those rooms. And if you by chance do enter those rooms, it can be cut from you like that because you're not ready. Because you're not ready to allow that shell to be be disassociated with you. So it takes work, continuous work. Like you said, it's no plateau that you can't reach. And you there and you're comfortable there.
Listen,
Uncomfortability is going to be a part of our lives for as long as we have a life. We just have to know, like you said earlier, how to navigate it and work through and thrive through that chaos.
okay.
For
Listen,
real.
I literally put out my podcast this past week was get comfortable with being uncomfortable
That's
because
right.
I am in a very uncomfortable space in my life right now. And I'm like, the only way to really, to me, like the only way to really face something is to go head on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it's, if it takes, if you got to take a couple of detours, if you have to start over and like revert back to another plan or something, you have to face whatever it is head on. And my therapist this week read me for filth in the best therapeutic way, though. And I appreciate her for it, but it gave me so much more understanding of what was wrong with me. And it helped me to like really release some of the resistance and the pressure that I had. And what she told me, and I quote, and I'm gonna tell you, this made me so happy because I was really like, I feel like I was soul searching. I felt like my soul had left my
Right.
body within these last couple of weeks, and I was dissociating from life. It's just been a lot. Life has been life.
Yeah.
What this lady told me was, what I'm going through right now is I am grieving my old self that I just left. right? I just went through a
Ooh,
move
that's
and
cold.
everything. And the life that I was living literally a couple of weeks ago, I'm grieving that. I'm grieving
Mm-hmm.
where I was staying, all of my belongings. Like, I'm grieving all of those things. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, when you're going to other lengths and, different environments, a lot of times you cannot take the things, people, you can't. You have to leave some things behind. Now, that's not to say that you may not go back and get those things and those people at some point if the journey allows it. But
Right.
grief is a motherfucker. Whether you're grieving a person that passed on, but like to grieve yourself and like your
Ooh,
parts of your old self that once made
to
you
grieve
comfortable.
yourself and you alive.
To grieve
You're
another
alive.
person, and it's to grieve another person that's alive is hard, right? But to grieve yourself and you're alive, like you said, it's like, wait, what? When she said that, I stood up like, what? Because it was the truth. So it's like, okay, well, how do you get through this? Like, how do I continue to process this? And she's like, that is not for me to decide. That is for you to decide. I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm not
But
paying
you the
you for
therapist.
it. But no, on the real though, like, it makes sense because sometimes life will place us in situations that we have only God to ask. How am I going to get through this? What am I supposed to do? He don't want us to
All
go
right,
to.
Reverend Johnson. That.
He don't want us to go to all of our friends, our family, the internet. Some of us like to use the internet and social media as our personal journal. Hey, if it's different strokes for different folks, whatever. He wants us to come to him. He will put us in the most uncomfortable situations until all we have is him to seek and provide. Okay? So I'm sitting there in this chair and I'm like, okay, you're right, lady. It's for me to figure out. I was like,
You
me and
right,
God
lady.
can figure it out. Okay? Because me and this man been going toe to toe
Oh
these
yeah.
last couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? And like, so when I tell you, like, my whole mindset and perspective about thriving through any type of chaotic experience has literally changed in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Like a couple of weeks ago, I might have approached things one way, but now I'm just like, oh nope, not gonna do that no more. That ain't gonna work for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that it's an easy process, because no, it shouldn't be. It should not be easy. It should be something you should take
Right.
from it to be able to look back. But is it going to be worth it in the end? Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And like you said, I'm like a big person. I'm very routine. I'm very structured. Like, anybody that knows me will tell you, like, where we going at what time. I'm leaving at this time. I will be there. We need to be pulled. Like, that's just me. I have like a morning routine. I have like a night routine. Like, my weeks are planned out a certain type of way
Right.
around my work. Like, I'm very structured and routine. And like, once you knock me off of that, I'm just like a total wreck. In the last couple of
Right.
weeks, I have been a total wreck trying to put myself back together. And I don't have any like apps and stuff like that like you have. I'm definitely getting back more into my meditation, my prayer, like just a lot of things. But I'm gonna go ahead and plug this sister real quick, okay? Because I'm about to plug her real quick because she is in the chat.
Yes.
Miss Victoria Marshall. Yes, I just called your whole government out. She has a podcast that is called the 12. Hold on, let me look.
Well,
The
I just
12th
followed her. I'm not
Street
waiting for you
Talk
to tell
Back.
it.
Okay, the 12th Street Talk Back. And every morning, Monday through Friday, it's like 2 to 2.5, 3 minutes. She has a prayer and some type of daily devotional. And I've been listening to it like consistently for the last 2 weeks. And I start my day, because how you start your day, 9 out of 10 is how your day's going to end. I start my day
Mm-hmm.
with that word. And from that point, like, she's powerful. She's powerful. If y'all can go follow
I,
her, check out her
I just
podcast.
followed her for
Like,
sure.
like, there's no better way to start your day with God. Like, I mean, we all have our routines and stuff, but her podcast is definitely something that has been getting me back into my word, and just depending on God and just having faith in the process, having faith you know, in the journey, just believing in the timing of things. Like things may not look how you or I or anyone else want them to look right now, but that doesn't mean that they won't turn out to be something beautiful at the end of the day.
Right.
But all the chaos that's going around, you know, in your life, you can continue to thrive through it. Just keep going through it, you know? Keep going.
Keep going.
Yes. So, whew, this was a lot. I got worked up. Oh my God.
Yes, look, I was just, yeah, you definitely had me going. You said some stuff that step right on these little pinky toes for sure.
But I appreciate you for, you know, coming on and sharing your testimony and offering the wonderful words of encouragement and empowerment. Can you offer some type of word of advice for someone out there that is steady going through something chaotic, like something motivational that you can tell them that can help them to continue to thrive through whatever they're going through?
So I see with a lot of people that I know and don't, when they are going through something, they tend to, I guess, is some form of an outlet or something. They tend to pour into or give medicine to others to, I guess, mask what they're personally dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're pouring back into yourself. Like you were saying earlier, it's going to be, you know, uncomfortable, but you have to do that work. Make sure, because there's nothing wrong with you doing that, especially if you're already a person that's like, you know, a giver, like a giver of life. And when I say giver of life, a person that naturally pours into people, a person that naturally encourages and always gives a positive word. If you're naturally like that, especially, but even if you're not like that and you're just going through, don't just mask or camouflage what you're going through and pour into others with similar situations that's like yours or different situations, because that's like a defense mechanism and again like an outlet so you don't have to face the music. Like you were saying earlier, make sure even if it's you crying in your damn shower and purging it out of yourself like that, that is probably been the greatest gift I've been able to give myself, especially in this last year. Just pour back into yourself. I don't care if you sit in silence in the car for 20 minutes after you done pulled in the crib. Pour that time back into yourself. Go get the pedicure. Go have the lunch by yourself. Go talk to God. Go run. Whatever the case may be, pour that time back into yourself, because if you continuously deplete yourself and, you know, good or bad, and you're not replenishing yourself, that's another point of vulnerability. And if you allow that to be your point, then you won't thrive. Or even if you do, it'll be extremely difficult to do so. Pour back into yourselves. That is my only ask. Pour into yourself. For real.
Yeah, I love that. And just to piggyback, because I always use this analogy because when it was presented to me, it was at the right time. Because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? But you also can't pour from a cracked cup. And a cracked cup will never be able to experience overflow. You know, so you have to take care of yourself. Like Jessica said, you know, give yourself grace, give yourself compassion.
Absolutely.
Something that I heard about a couple of days ago is we need to take care of ourselves the way that we take care of everybody else. You know, like if you're that person that is always checking on everyone else's mental health, their well-being, you know, helping support other people through whatever they're going through, their journeys, like you need to be able to turn that around and do the same exact thing the same way for yourself.
And even more for yourself, because you are yourself. You have to make sure you have that fuel.
Exactly. So, you know, continue to take care of yourself. And within that, like what I'm continuing to learn, even on my journey, is like, don't take things personal. A lot of times, you know, people take things that other people say or do they personalize everything that it starts to affect you in a negative way.
Right.
A lot of times what people are going through has nothing to do with us at all. And it is up to them to address whatever those needs, their concerns are that they're lacking, and to fill those voids, not us. I understand, like, if you're a person that deals with like codependency issues or people pleasing, it may not be as easy as just 1, 2, 3. However, like, what good are you doing to yourself to continue to chase after everybody else that damn sure ain't chasing after you, let alone supporting you through what you're going through, And that's why I think it's also important to have like a good community, a good support system. Not saying run to everybody and tell everybody your business, but at least like maybe 1 or 2 people that you can confide in that's not going to enable you and lead you astray,
Yeah, that enabling part is extremely important, for sure.
Yeah, so just gotta watch the company you keep and take care of yourself. And so, wrapping this up, can you tell everyone where they can find, like, well, of course, her social media? If you click the little arrow at the top, you can go follow her. But let everyone know where they can find like your other stuff at your other social medias and podcasts.
Okay.
And explain, sorry, what the monthly actually is, because I don't think we did that in the beginning.
Okay, I will do. So I am Chrys at the Monthly on Facebook, and that is Chrys. Not Chris. It's just a Y, not an I. I'm Chrys at the Monthly on Facebook. I'm also at the Monthly everywhere audio podcasts can be heard. The Monthly on YouTube as well. You can email me themonthly@gmail.com. I am a podcast that advocates for women's reproductive and period health and rights. So we talk literally about everything. My loyal following, the Coochie Gang, I've blessedly cultivated a space where a woman can feel safe to listen and to talk. So I'm educating while I'm educating myself while advocating for this issue. I have stage 3 endometriosis. I'm actually having surgery at the end of the month for the issue. I've dealt with it for about 20 years now. And I just feel like, especially now in the climate that we live in, people need to know how delicate women's health is. I need women to know that about themselves as well. Sometimes we feel like these conversations are taboo or forbidden, or, oh, we can't speak this out loud. Well, I'm going to be the one to speak it out loud for you. If you feel voiceless, I got you. Even if you are a speaker, I got you. And my platform is where we have all of those conversations, everything from your daughter or niece or sister, maybe, minor, adolescent, dealing with these issues, to menopause. Everything under the sun. If it deals with the woman, we talking about it. We even have male followers as well, because just as much as the person dealing with the issue needs to know what's going on, your significant other, your dad, your uncle, brother, they're just as concerned. They're just as concerned about the quality of your life and your well-being as well. So it is man and woman friendly. It's all gender friendly. I'm all inclusive, literally. So yes, again, you can follow me literally on everything at the Monthly.
Yeah, so
I also have I almost forgot. May, my podcast will be 1 year old.
Hey.
And I am having a women's symposium in Dallas, Texas. So if you are a fan of Texas, if you are a fan of Dallas, I believe that's the link right now that's in my bio here on Instagram. But you can go click the Eventbrite link. Tickets are $15. I will have a panel. There will be a birth doula. There will also be a herbalist as well. And we will be on panel. My lovely girlfriend that y'all saw in the chat earlier will be the host and moderator of this event. It is called Coochie Talks Live. I usually do Coochie Talk Wednesdays every Wednesday, but now this is just a live podcast event. It's also wrapping up season 1 as well. So if you guys have the time and to travel and come talk about it, come see me, man, and I would greatly appreciate it.
All right. So y'all go tap in with her and see what she got going on the Monthly. And she definitely posts a lot. I ain't gonna lie, some stuff that you posted, like I've never, like, I didn't know. So it is definitely informal. So definitely, like I always tell you, keep doing what you're doing because you're helping to
And
educate
you too. You
people.
need it. Yeah. Mental health is that really go reproductive and mental health go hand in hand. So the fact that you chose the mental health role like as your premise for this, you doing the work necessary, sis. You are literally out here doing God's work, and I'm appreciative of you. I'm glad to be in advocacy with you. You are my sister. You are Coochie Gang for life. You know that. I'm just glad to be able to know you, man.
Listen, I didn't choose this. God chose this for me. You feel me? Like God chose this, and that's why I laugh because you was like you're just doing God's. Yes, I'm doing the Lord's work. You know, I'm grateful to have the voice that I have now because literally before I started my podcast last year, I was very outspoken, and you might have heard me say before I would be the loudest person in the room, but I was not seen. You know,
Right.
I was loud for like the wrong reasons, and it is a little overwhelming at times now that I'm like loud for the right reasons, and people actually taking heed to it, and I'm just like,
Right.
oh my god, like it's over, it's a lot. It'd be a lot, yeah, you know. But I'm thankful for the journey because not only am I helping other people, but I'm helping myself. Like
That's
I'm still
right.
on my own healing journey, you know. So I'm like, God, you sure you want me to lead the people? Like,
Yes,
you
yes,
sure?
yes, yes.
But
Yes,
he'll never
ma'am.
make no mistakes. So again, y'all go check out her social medias and her podcast and stuff like that. If if you're catching the replay, go check out my podcast. My link is in my bio, Chronicles of a Virgo, on all of your podcast platforms and on YouTube and on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Yeah, I think that's it. But yes, go check out my stuff. I think Chrys puts her stuff out every month. Mine come out every Wednesday. I am in the process of about to wrap up season 2. Okay,
Yeah.
we are
It,
at
it
40.
don't. It feel like you just started season 2. I swear, it feels like you just started.
Literally, like we're at episode 43. This week I will be putting out episode 44, and like Ash, like if anyone is watching or listening that has had opportunity to come on Chronicles of Virgo podcast this season, this has been a phenomenal season. I mean, my first season was phenomenal, but this season right here has truly been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Not just with the guests, but like just a lot of opportunities and things that I never have thought that would happen, and be like you said, be in spaces that you didn't think that you'd be in.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm very, very humble and I'm grateful for all of that. And wrapping this season up, I have some amazing conversations coming because I batch record all my stuff. So I have some amazing conversations coming, but I really want y'all to definitely tap in next month. I want y'all to always tap in, but definitely next month because it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I
Mm-hmm.
got some stuff coming down the pipe for that. So yes, I appreciate all the support, all the kind words. Anybody that just likes me, anybody that I can help out here. But yeah, so thank you again for this conversation. Um, thank all of you ladies and gentlemen that are in the
Thank
chat
you,
that
guys.
came and vowed out for y'all. Sorry about the sound. I don't know what happened. I really don't. But yeah, but whatever. And yeah, so if you're catching this on replay, hey y'all. Otherwise, I'm gonna
Points
also
were made. Points were made. So you
yes,
good.
it was my aunt say the man was trying to shut us down. But I'm also gonna upload this on YouTube as well. So like just in case, we're gonna have an extra copy.
Right
So yeah.
on.
Thank you guys for joining us. I hope that, this conversation resonated with someone or you took something from it. If you did not, that is okay. Like I always say, please do send it to someone that you may know that it may resonate with, because you just never know how things can help people in different type of ways. But until next time, y'all, peace out.